Okay. Well, the good news is I remembered how to do all that after being gone for a month. The better news is I'm home. I'm so happy to be home. We will not be doing a lot today. One, because it's Memorial Day, and I hope you all are out doing things that are fun and wonderful. And two, hello. And two, because I'm exhausted. If you don't know, I had been traveling for a month. My husband and I left on April 23rd. We had a spectacular trip. We literally traveled for 30 days. So we left out of Cape Canaveral on a cruise ship that did a transatlantic crossing. We went all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. We went to the Azores Islands in Portugal. We went to Cadiz and Malaga and Mallorca and Cartagena in Spain. And then we went to France and visited Villefranche and Nice. And then we went to Rome. And then we went to Dubrovnik and Zadar, Croatia. We went to Kotor, Montenegro. We saw Stromboli, the volcano in the middle of the ocean. That was pretty cool. And then we went back to Italy. We did Pisa, Civitavecchia, we did La Spezia, we did Rome, we did Milan, we did Florence, we did Rome, Milan, and Florence, and then we did also up into the Swiss Alps into St. Moritz, and then we flew home Friday from Rome, and it took, I think, 27 hours to get home because we got delayed, and of course all the things. So anyway, I'm so very delighted to be home. I'm so delighted to be sleeping in my own bed. I'm so very delighted to be back with my family and my pets and my kids and all the things. And I am so very delighted to be back with all of you. Now, because I am a little out of tune at the moment because my body's not quite sure what time zone we're in, and also, still trying to deal with the jet lag and get caught up on all the things. I don't really want to dive into the cards today because I not feeling connected. And I know that there's not a channel that's going on right now. However, it is something I do want to share. And let me find this email because I do want to share. There's a website that I really like. It's called Loner Wolf, and they do really, really cool stuff. And it's they're based, I think, in Australia or New Zealand, and they do some really, really cool stuff. And they do, what I did with them was an animal, it's lonerwolf.com. Let me put in, let me copy this and put it into the chat for you all, because I think it's really, they're worth checking out, lonerwolf.com. They do a lot of really interesting stuff. But this thing that I did with them recently was an animal spirit quiz. What is your animal spirit? What is your animal spirit teacher? And it was very, very cool. I thought I was saving the results, and I think I did not. I think I saved only the ability to take the quiz. So let me share that with you as well, to share the quiz, because this was really interesting. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be home. So this was a really cool quiz of getting your animal spirit, to see what animal spirit is vibing with you right now. And since we're not going to do cards today, I thought this might be a really fun thing to share with you all. That it was such a cool thing, because when you do this and you asks you about 10 different questions, and it's a pretty simple quiz. It's not like you have to think real hard about this stuff. It's like 5 different things. What stands out to you? What grabs you? What do you resonate with? What vibes with you? It was very cool because it was, for me, it was a dragonfly. And I thought that was really cool because dragonflies are really indicative of travel and also of change. So I wanted to share that with you. And I was going to actually grab the book of the animal spirit book. And because they feel dragonflies symbolize transformation, adaptability, and also self-realization. And what I thought was so fantastic was because the thing I keep thinking about, thank you, the thing I keep thinking about was how transformative this trip was, both for myself, my husband, for our relationship, for our, not our worldview so much, but just there's something that happens when you, so we've been planning this trip for like a year. Okay. We have been talking about it. We've been planning it. We were putting it together piece by piece. We had to make sure that all the bills were paid for April and for May. We needed to make sure that we had plenty of slush for June because we weren't working in May, and to be able to, respond to queries and emails and things wherever we were going. We needed to make sure that we had the right materials, the right shoes, the right water bottles, which it seems like it wouldn't be like that big of a deal, but it really was. The right clothes, because we were in the south of France where it was very warm and we were in shorts and t-shirts. And then we were in the north at Saint-Moritz in the north end of Italy where we were freezing and it was 25 degrees in the mountains and the snow. So there was just a lot of pieces to it. And we really looked at this trip as like three distinct pieces. There was part one was the transatlantic crossing where we were on the ship for 15 days and we really only hit 2 or 3 ports. And then we got off the ship in Barcelona and we got back on the ship for another 10 days and we did 5 or 6 ports. And then we got off the ship in Ravenna in the south of Italy and we took the high-speed rail all the way up to Milan. And then we did all of the last part, which was really like running all over the place. And one of the things that I learned is that as much as you can plan, and we did a heck of a job, as much as you can plan, there's always going to be things you can't plan for. And that has to be okay. And to allow ourselves to be flexible to receive the experiences that come across our path. So some experiences, most experiences were spectacular, mountaintop, amazing, fabulous things. There were some, especially when you are folks like we are, who are aware of larger spiritual meanings, larger spiritual path, perhaps multi-lives, multi-dimensions, things like that. Then when you allow yourself to put your feet on the ground, regardless of your shoes, and no amount of good footwear is a match for 20,000 steps a day on the cobblestone streets of Rome or Pisa or Milan, or it just, no amount of good footwear is a match for that. So thankful for good footwear, but when you allow yourself to step onto these places that are so ancient and so old, and also in Dubrovnik and in Montenegro and in Cartagena, Roman ruins and Moorish villages in Cadiz, when you allow yourself, and if you want to follow along with the pictures, because I haven't posted any pictures yet, but if you want to follow along with the pictures, please follow me on my personal Facebook page. But please understand, my personal Facebook page is not this page. My personal Facebook page is also a place where I share my frustration at things that are going on in our country. And if you don't share those views, that's 100% fine. But just know that that's part of what you'll find on my personal Facebook page, is where I step into my place where I feel like I am called to be a social advocate. And so that is evident in my personal Facebook page. However, that's a chance you take. If you choose to follow along with the pictures, which I'll start posting this week in chunks, those pictures of who sent me frowny faces, why I got frowny faces, that we'll start posting the personal, oh, Janie is sad. Why so sad? So we'll start posting the pictures of the trip. So if you want to follow along with the trip, I may choose to post to share the posts here as well. What do you all think about that? I'll ask for you all tell me. But when you choose to step into those places that are so ancient and that have so much historical and gotcha, and and so much history and so many lives, you start to feel things in your energy, in your body, that are so much of your lifetimes. My kids were fans back in the day of a cartoon called Avatar: The Last Airbender. Fabulous show. It's one of those things like Bugs Bunny where it's a kid's show, but it really has so much for adults as well. And so if you've not seen it, you can find it. It's on, I think it's maybe on YouTube, or it's on one of the streaming platforms. But it's the Avatar. It's not the blue people. It's not the movie from James Cameron. This is a cartoon with the little bald boy Aang with the arrow on his forehead. But it's one of those cartoons that is a kid show, but it is so much for adults as well. And he's the Avatar. He's the one who aligns all of the elements to bring peace to the world, right? So air, fire, water, earth. And he is incarnated lifetime over lifetime, kind of like the Dalai Lama, of in a different element. So he's air, and the one before him was fire and earth and water. And so there's moments where he taps into those past lives, and you can see them all line up and go and light up as he taps into these lives. And that was kind of how I felt in different places that we went. Like when I went to the Coliseum, I definitely was not comfortable to be there. And we went into a Benedictine nunnery. It's a church for Benedictine nuns, and I definitely had some problems there. And even just walking around in the Forum in Rome, not so much in interesting, not so much in Florence. There was a lot of water in Florence, and the rivers are everywhere, but it was so interesting to feel, and almost like having these flashes of other lives. And so I'm looking forward to, now that I'm home, to do some research and some digging into all of that. But just knowing that we have the ability to tap into these things, that there's so much more to us, this human form that you're in right now, then of course we're led to believe. And so here is the dragonfly. It says, be on the lookout for any falsehoods, deceit, or illusions that are clouding the current situation or relationship. You're being too rational about everything and really need to tap into your deeper emotions, whatever they may be. Your passion is awakening, so direct it to what feels true and right for you. This is also a time when the magic and mystery of your life is reawakening. And then it says, it's vital to recharge your psychic energy, which you can do by regularly meditating, which I'm a big fan of. Also a big fan of water, of getting into salt water. Our pool is salt water. It's not like the ocean, it's more like saline, but getting into salt water, and also to be able to be part of B6. B6, if you're someone who does this kind of work, B6 is kind of a must, as well as a vitamin supplement. But allowing ourselves, because right now, and we're not, we just have finished into the new moon. We're in the first quarter now. And this is really this time of this awakening. And I was talking to somebody else about how we see so many people are leaving the planet. And I've been saying this for a couple of years, but it's as if we're seeing this sort of self-purging, self-removing. People are leaving the planet, and being able to give yourself this opportunity to allow for transformation. Okay, giving yourself the opportunity to allow for transformation. So I put the link in there for the animal spirit quiz, and I would love to know what you all, come up with in your quizzes as well. Sharon, I didn't go to Pompeii. We actually didn't end up in that part of Italy. But what's interesting is when we were on the second part of the cruise, we passed by this volcano, Stromboli, and you can look it up, because where it is literally out in the middle of nothing, in the sort of boot tip of Italy. If you have like the shoe part of Italy where the toe comes out and curves up into the boot part, there's sort of this big, there's a lot of it. The ocean is very big, and there's this island. It's a volcano called Stromboli. And it just pops up out of the ocean. And I'm telling you, I really thought I would expect to see Moana coming out at any moment to be there, because it's just this thing by itself. And when we went by Stromboli, I felt such a pull to it, this volcano that's been erupting for the last 1,800 years. and all of the lava flow was on the other side, on the north side of the island, and we were on the south side, and all of the little town was on the south side. And there was something very familiar and something very pulling to me about this volcano. So that was very interesting as well. So the thing I want you to understand, or the thing that I want to share is, one, I'm so happy to be home, and I'm sorry that we can't do cards today, but we will get back together next week and we'll be all back on track. But to give yourself an opening for possibility, Right now, I know there's so much that's going on with the world and the wars and the strife and the gas prices. I talked to a friend of mine in Los Angeles today. She said gas is at $7 a gallon out there. It is insane. Here in Florida, it's $4.50, which is also insane. And just giving yourself an opening to the possibility that something else is going on. Okay. Not political, okay, not stupidity and chaos and greed and all of that, but something else that is going on from a higher level that is using these, what do they call them, the 7 deadly sins, like gluttony and greed and jealousy and just all these things, to create a shift in humanity. There is something else that's going on. And so open yourself to that possibility, because while our common sense mind says, well, if this is something else that's going on, we're expecting some sort of big thing for everyone. And that's not how the universe is working. The universe says, if you get it, it's like one of those Facebook things that says, oh, don't spoil the secret. Comment when a thumbs up when you get it, when you see the picture or you see the meme, and you're supposed to understand the joke on, that somebody posted, and you go, oh, I see it. I see the silly thing. I put my thumbs up, right? So the universe is asking us right now to see the silly thing and put our thumbs up, but not ruin the joke for everybody else. Okay. And so there's something more that's going on, but it is individual for each of us to look at this and go, oh, I see the silly thing. I see the ridiculousness in this. I see the stupidity in this. And I'm going to shift into my way and stay in my lane of openness to the universe and openness to creation and manifestation, so that stuff tends to go around me as water moving around a boulder in the stream, as opposed to washing me away. That stuff tends to go around me. Okay. So there is something else that's going on, and we have a choice as enlightened humans that we can stay in that flow and say, I see the joke, universe, and I'm going to come with you, and I'm going to stay in that flow and open myself to the opportunities of abundance and change and growth that are going to come with this shift that is happening in the ground, boots on the ground, people who don't get it, land that we live in. And to say, I don't want to get washed away. I don't want to get sucked into all the drama. I want to be able to see that there is something more that is going on, that humanity is shifting in a very significant way. And it's going to be very interesting if you can step back and zoom out a little bit and watch humanity as this evolution is going on from this different place, to be able to say, something else is going on, and watching this like it's a movie. Maybe it's a really bad movie, but watching this as like it's a movie playing out, rather than we're caught in the twister and the cyclone and the drama of it. If we can pull ourselves back out of it a little bit, it is very helpful for us, one, to stay in our own flow and to stay in our own kind of mind our own business, stay in our own energy and protect our path and protect our energy flow. But at the same time, to be able to look at these things without so much personal effrontery, which is really where the negative spewers are wanting us to be, is to get all caught up into the personal effrontery. How dare they? Oh my, and that gets all this negative energy spewing. If you've ever heard of anything called thought forms or negative energy clouds, when we say something horrible to another person, we say, I hope you stub your toe. That's a thought form, like a cartoon word bubble that we sent it out into the universe. And maybe it hit the person that we were aiming at, and maybe it didn't. But maybe some other person comes along and they walk through that. Think of it like a cloud, like around Pigpen and the Peanuts, right? They have that cloud, and now the person walks through that and they're like, bleh, 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 right? So if you've ever been around somebody who has all that stuff around them, you feel it. You'd be like, bleh, bleh, I don't want any of that around me, right? So when we can stay in our own bubble and stay in our own good place of our good thought forms, we can surround ourselves with the yay, which is why those other people, when they get around us, they're like, hey, we want to be around you more because our energy feels good. It's up to us to make sure that we're maintaining that and not giving that away to people. And we do that by zooming out from the drama and the effrontery and not, it's hard, but we try hard not to get it sucked into the, oh, I can't believe that. I got to write an email, right? And it's okay to write an email, but it's important that we try to do that zoom out as we can, knowing that this is a time of great transformation. I've been talking about this for years, about humanity's evolution through the chakras. And humanity right now, we are in the throat chakra. This is the time of people saying and using their words and expressing and making their voices be heard from every angle imaginable, right? I want this, I want this, I don't want this, I don't want that. I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to do that. Every single angle imaginable, there is something that is humanity is in the throat chakra. We are in the screaming, the yelling, the needing to be heard. And where we're not is in the listening. We're not. And so it becomes up to us, we who are in the light, to say, yes, we want to be heard too, but we want to listen. And so when we can zoom out like that, we can listen better. We can listen more. And that's something that's really important, because that's really what's going on right now, because after the throat chakra comes the ears. And I know that's not what's, on that chart of the 7 most common, right? It goes from the throat to the ajna, but the ears are first, the ear chakras. Okay. So then we have the third eye and then the crown. Okay. So we're getting there. We're getting there. It is a very slow and sometimes arduous process. So, okay. So as soon as I hit the ground in Orlando, of course, allergies, because you all hadn't been having a lot of rain. So it's nice that we've been having a little bit of rain here, at least at our house. We had rain yesterday. So, but of course, allergies. So, all right. Having said all of that, I did not want, even though it's Memorial Day, I hope you all are having a wonderful day off, holiday, however you're spending. I didn't want to let a whole nother week go by before we could get back together again. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm so looking forward to being back with you next Monday in our real way with cards and readings and the whole thing. But take the animal spirit quiz. Put a comment. Let us know how you did, what you came up with. We'd love to know. And I hope you enjoy the rest of a meaningful Memorial Day, that we take some time to honor the lives that have been lost on this day, and that we think about those who gave their lives to protect our future, our freedoms. And that's really important as well. And just know that I'm so happy to be home. I'm so happy to be back with you, to connect even for a few minutes. And I look forward to being back together next week for Realsy. I did put it in the comments, but let me put it right in there one more time, Sharon. No problem. Maybe put that in there one more time so that it's in the more recent comments. So you should be able to get it. And I can pop that up there. So it is in the comments there. All right. All right. So I'm going to go take a nap and I will look forward to being back with you all next week. I am so grateful to be home. And at some point the house will stop doing this after 21 days on a cruise ship. So have a wonderful week, and just know always how very loved you are. Zoom yourself out, stay in your own bubble, and remember that we're talking to the universe about this evolution, this change, how we are changing, how we are growing, because the more that we are changing and growing, the more that's going to sprinkle that love glitter all over the other people. So we make change in a broader way by changing in ourselves first. So that's where we are. Have a fantastic week. I'm so happy to be home. I'm so happy to be back with you. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Mwah.